Can I just say firstly this morning, there's some tragic news yesterday about Paul Green. On behalf of the Manly Club, I'd like to pass on the condolences to the family. I'm sure everyone's shocked throughout rugby league as we are. So condolences to his family, and the rest of the league world's in absolute shock. I'd also like to mention Barbara Arthurson gets laid to rest today. Our thoughts are also with Ken Arthurson, who's an absolute legend of this club, and Ken will be down at the game next week. So, thoughts are with him as well, and we're supporting Ken. Also, as you all know, Manase Fainu was found guilty yesterday. His barrister has appealed the case, and it's still in court, so we won't be able to make any further comment. As per we've done throughout this whole process, we're going to support Manase in any way we can, particularly from a well-being point of view. So, over to you, Des.
Yeah, I can only sort of reiterate what Tony has stressed. So really concerned regarding Manase. Is that support for him, his family, extended family. So, what the court now determines next steps.
Just on the levels of supporters, obviously something the club has been really aware of right throughout the trial.
Yeah, of course.
It's been a 3-year process. So, in that time, that support that we've been given has been much needed. It's been really tough on Manase and his family, and that's all we really can continue to do.
How is he and his family? How are they going? Have you had any communication with them?
His family obviously doing it's not easy. It's not easy. His father's ill, so and when and I think it's just a shock and sort of coming to terms. It's been 3 years. It's been going on for so, but in that time, we've sort of got to recognise responsibility. And in that 3 years, he's continued to be active. He's continued to be involved. He's continued to support. Given that it's this constant wait for the determination. So it hasn't been easy on him.
How big a blow has his absence been at the club, given you let Appy Coruscant go? He was seen as the future. Obviously, Lachlan Croker's come in and made that 9 jersey his own, but he was obviously touted as the future.
Yeah, definitely. I think you call them sliding door moments, and that's just part of of the way things transpire or things work out. But you're correct in your assumption. It's other players gain their opportunity, and that will continue to evolve.
I guess, Des, with everything that's going on, and particularly the tragic Paul Green news yesterday, how are you and how is the playing? How are the boys?
Oh, good. They understand. They've been. They've got their own real good supports there. They're very supportive of each other. They're very respectful of each other. So within that group, there is a good, strong presence of leadership. The players have attended at various times over the past 3 weeks. So, but like most things, it's something that they'll have to process, and we'll keep an eye on that. But generally, the support given, as long as we're sort of there for each other and aware of what's going on around you, is important.
You came up against Paul Green in a semi-final back 95, two opposing sevens. Just talk to the kind of player he was. And
well,
what it's like
not so much the kind of player he was, it's the kind of person he was. I played against Greeny, and I think I played against Greeny, and then but certainly coached against him. And the times you're with them, because even though you're working in opposing clubs, players and coaches, and the relationships that are formed, within the game are very important. And it's he was really, I always struck him as very friendly at the times. coaches' conferences at different times that caught up to the game. They're always available for a chat or so it's a real shock, and it's yeah.
What about here at the club as well? Only a couple of weeks ago, you played for the Gotcha for Life Cup. You know, it's been something that the club has, mental health awareness is something the club has supported so strongly over the years.
Yeah, I just think when it happens close to you, it just brings that home, you know. Issue home, like 7 men today will commit suicide, as Gus Wallen pointed out last night, and 2 women. So it's obviously it's something that we really need to be mindful of, and the awareness and the from the community aspect is really important. It really is. We really need to be, you know, watchful and careful of each other.
Just before we move on entirely from the Manase questions, there was the assumption that a guilty verdict would spell the end of an NRL return here at the club. Is the club today saying that's not the case and you will continue to see this process out?
At the moment, that is still to be determined, and regardless, the Fainu name will still have a very heavy involvement in the club, and until that's determined, I best leave it at that.
Yes, I guess in ordinary circumstances, you might be licking your lips at facing a team that's lost 10 or 11 on the trot, but this is sudden death situation, isn't it? Do you see that as the next month going forward for you? Is that how you're treating it?
Oh, we have to treat it that way. Yeah, it's the next 4 are all winnable games, but we need to win them just to keep the mathematical possibility available, and we're aware of that. And while you might state they've been losing a few games, they're a good attacking side. So we'll need to be. They've got some good individuals, so we'll need to be on our game, particularly at their home ground.
You've obviously done the maths. How hard is it to just stay in what you've got to do next and not thinking about the 3 games after that?
Oh no, the players are pretty experienced, and there's a lot of experience across that player group. So it's pretty simple. You get out there and you win each game. Yeah.
I was going to ask something similar. Does the final situation influence this time of year in terms of attitudes, selections, decision making at all? How hard is it?
No, I think the NRL player, they get to that stage, or they get to that level of playing first grade because they've got that competitive nature and that real competitive drive about them. So that'll take care of itself. Yeah.
Tony, I just had a question for you.
Sure.
It's been quite a baptism by fire, hasn't it? Your first week or 2 in the job. I guess coming in with all the jersey fiasco, now a player found guilty of a criminal charge. How have you found dealing with this coming in?
Look, it hasn't been easy. I think my job is to support the playing group and to support Des. I've come in under those premises, and I think that's the first thing. Checking on the well-being of the group and supporting Des in the off-field through the on-field, part of the business through the off-field, like the commercial sales, commercial viability into the future is really important. But in the short term, it's about us coming together as one. There's been lots of reports about splits and so on. The boys are together. They solved that last Sunday themselves. So I think for me, to show leadership to the club, obviously Des, from a coaching and football point of view, does that. But for me, it's about giving it leadership. There hasn't been a CEO here for a while now. So that's part of my brief, and I'm enjoying it. It's good to be back. Feel like I'm at home. And Des and I have known each other for a long time. We've got on exceptionally well. Des is a Manly man, so am I. So we're here in the same boat. So it's been a tough road, but it's all in front of us. We've got to win 4 games. Simple as that.
An article this morning about Des's contract situation.
Sure.
What is the situation there? We understand that there's a
Yep.
clause that if Manly make the top 8, that there is an extension. Is where's that at?
So at the moment, and Des and I have spoken about this, and it's a conversation that we want to have internally. I think Manly in the past has aired all its dirty laundry to everyone. We're not going to do that. Des has got a contract for next year. Des is an integral part of Manly. There's no doubt about that. And conversations in the off season will go on between us and no one else. So that's the situation as we see it at the moment.
How do you from you, Des, on how you feel about your situation?
Well, first of all, what's reported is factually wrong, and it's best left to management. This forum isn't the right one to discuss contractual issues. Thank you.
Yes, I do.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.